Hαίrε and welcome. Today we are in John chapter 1, taking a look at verse 20 through about the middle of the page, so that will also incorporate verse 21. Here's our rubric, everything that we're looking for as we go through the Greek. Well, let's go ahead and read it. Epon un hoi judaioi tesserakonta kai hex et tessin oikodomethe ho naos hutos kai su en thrisin hemerais egeres auton ekenos de elegen peri tu nau tu somatos autu. And that's as far as we're going to get today. So we want to find our verb first, and that's what we have right here in verse 20, which is just fantastic. That alpha nu there tells us that this is going to be a plural, and then the epsilon iota there with the pi tells us that this is the third principal part of our verb, and that's going to make it aorist tense. Third plural aorist. We don't have a passive ending, so it's active. It's also not subjunctive. That's pretty good. So then we want to find our plural subject. We look ahead. Un doesn't work, but hoi and judaioi. Hoi from ho, he, to. So we know that this one's going to be the masculine plural nominative, and that matches with judaioi. So that's good. No need to really parse it. The Jews, Epon said. Last word to look at is un, which just means therefore. This should remind us, this word right here should remind us that there's more that came on ahead and that there's context we have to pay attention to, but we'll get to that later. So we got a direct quote starting here. Want to find a verb, tesserakonta, no, hex, no, estesin, no, aha. Theta, eta right there should give us all the information that we need about this. It's going to be a third person plural. Theta tells us that this is aorist passive, and it is indicative. So now we just need to find a singular subject. So we take a look ahead. Tesserakonta could be, because it's a number, as could hex, but we can't really tell because they don't decline properly. Estesin, this iota nu here, tells us that it's actually dative plural at the third declension, so that can't work, so we have to look further ahead. Ho naos, that's where we have our subject right there. Ho from ho, he, to. Omicron sigma there confirms it for us. That's nominative, singular, masculine. The temple, oikodomethe, and this has three meanings. Two of them are basically the same. We're going to say was built, was constructed, or was strengthened. Strengthened probably doesn't make much sense since prior to this the temple was in a shambles, so built, reconstructed, probably be a better idea. So now we need to look further ahead to this comma, hutos, aha, omicron sigma again, so that's going to be a demonstrative pointing back at naos, same case, this, comma, and now we can come back and take a look at these. So you have this, the temple, was built or was constructed, and then we have a dative right here. So that's going to tell us this is a dative of time, and this word is from etos, and it means year. Dative plural, and it is neuter. Years. Say in. And then these two look like they're going to be modifying this because since they're numbers and they're not one, they're plural, so they have to choose a plural object. Tessin is plural, but naos is singular, so this is the only object there, option there. So, and the chi is just connecting these two together. This means 40 and 6. All right, so then the Jews said, the temple was built in 46 years. So far, so good. Moving on. Kai just means and. Su and trisin hemeras. Aha, here is our verb. Epsilon iota sigma. That's I believe it's going to be a second person singular, but now I'm wondering, is this in fact a participle? I don't think it's a participle. I think it's going to be the second person singular, future, active, indicative. You think I'd remember. Oh well. Taking a look ahead, we've got Su right here, which is our second person personal pronoun. You, nominative or vocative. Will raise or rouse. Is it rouse? Maybe that's the Latin. I'll cross that out. We need a direct object for this, which we find right here with auton, right next to our Greek question mark. Seen that many times. I don't need to parse it again. Just it, masculine, so it's referring to naos here. And then we've got, looks like another time. En trisin hemerais, iota nu, dative plural. Alpha iota sigma, dative plural. And this is feminine. In 3 days. And that is verse 20. We can go ahead and move on to verse 21. Kainos de again. This looks like we're entering new discourse, especially because of that question mark. So I'm going to close off the quotes. Again, epsilon nu as our ending. Epsilon right there as our augmenting vowel. So we know that this is going to be a past tense. Lego ero epon should be that one. So this one has to be imperfect. Third person singular imperfect. Active indicative. This means said. However, since this is the imperfect, there are a wide number of different translations possible for us. It could be was saying, used to say, began to say, kept saying, or just the emphatic said. And there's probably another one out there. So you need to figure out which one of these makes the most sense, and I'm going to hold off on picking one until we have context through to the end of the clause. Kainos is clearly our subject with omicron sigma there, nominative, singular, masculine. And this is going to be our further demonstrative. It's going to point us beyond this clause back to who was speaking before, and that would be Jesus. So that, no other words for it to modify in here. Somatos is a third declension, so that doesn't work. I have to insert word one and or. But that one verb, peri, prepositional phrase, looking ahead, to, now, to, somatos, autu. All of these are genitives. So clearly peri has to take the genitive here. It's just a matter of figuring out, well, which one is the object of the preposition and which one is owning the prepositional phrase. So genitive, singular, masculine. This too goes with that. Nau, to, somatos, autu. This is going to be its own thing. So these two go together. Somatos, also genitive, singular but neuter. And genitive, singular, masculine, pointing back to kainos, which is pointing back to Jesus. So then we try it both ways. Peri with the genitive is going to mean about or concerning. So our two options are that one, I'm just going to use the word said. That one said about the temple of the body of him, or that one said about the body of the temple of him. The first translation is going to make a lot more sense, so that's what we'll go with. So prepositional phrase ends right there. The temple of the body of him. And now we can come back to our verb and try out the different options. But that one was speaking concerning the temple of the body of him. But that one began to speak concerning the temple. but that one used to speak concerning the temple, but that one kept speaking concerning the temple, but that one spoke concerning the temple. So running through those, there are three that I think fit pretty well. There's just the continuous one, was speaking, would fit with that. The other one is habitual, used to speak, and then the emphatic, spoke. Any of those three I think could work, so I'm going to write down all three of them. Was speaking, used to speak, spoke. There's no real way to determine which one of these makes the most sense because English doesn't quite work the same way that Greek does, and there's nothing in here otherwise that really shows which of the three is the best. It all depends on context and what the sense is. Is this a subject that Jesus spoke about often? I don't think we have any idea. I'm not sure. I can't remember if this passage appears in any of the other Gospels. So our habitual translation might not be the best. It all depends on history we don't have. Emphatic, yeah, that one could work, especially considering what John is trying to teach us here. So emphatic is just great. And then just the common imperative, that one fits with the context. It's easy, and there's nothing really serious going on behind it. It only speaks about this passage right here. Well, right here, I suppose. Well, there we have it. That's all of our translation. Let's take a look at it in its own context. Therefore, the Jews said, this temple was constructed in 46 years, and you will raise it in 3 days? But that one used to speak or spoke concerning the temple of the body of him. And now in the greater context. And the Passover was near, the Passover of the Jews. And the Jesus went up into Jerusalem, and he found in the temple those selling cattle and sheep and doves and money changers sitting. And having made a whip out of rope, he cast all of them out of the temple, and the sheep and the cattle, and he scattered the coins, the change of the money changers, and overturned the tables. And to those selling doves he said, remove these from here. Do not make the house of my father a house of market or of business. His disciples remembered that it is written, the zeal of the house of you will consume me. Therefore the Jews answered and said to him, what sign do you show to us that you do these? Jesus answered and said to them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it. Therefore the Jews said, this temple was constructed in 46 years, and you will raise it in 3 days? But that one was speaking about the temple of the body of him. And there we have it. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope taking a look at this has been helpful for you, and I hope you have a good day. Farewell. Hey, not asleep yet? That's okay. I've got tons of other equally sleep-inducing videos for you to watch. Check them out.